My father does not allow musicians to sit on instruments with earrings in their ears. That's a house rule. And so if you're going to come play for our house, it's just like if you're going to work for McDonald's, you do not wear Chick-fil-A uniform.
Right.
So if you come, when you go work at those jobs and they say you have to dress a particular way, you dress a particular way. And so what we do is we don't embarrass them. We don't call them out in the mic. You better take them earrings out. That's not what we do. When we have our private sessions with them, we ask that you please remove your jewelry. Please remove your jewelry out of respect for the God we serve and the house rules that we have. And we have never had a problem with the musicians. Let me tell you what the problem was. The problem was with the members that was members of the, okay, it wasn't the outside folks. We was having problems with the inside folks. Okay, and so I think, and you know, when we're dealing with the musicians, I think we have to make sure that those who are in leadership positions, such as, you know, Bishop Williams he's the minister of music. If we were in praise and worship, and let's just say our musicians start going in the left field, it's his duty to bring that in line as discreetly as possible. I wasn't here last night, but from what I heard, that's how you bring it in line. When you start, and Bishop Williams, let me just say, I Need Thee or I Need Thee is not an old song. That is a now song. That's going to always be a now song. Whatever it takes to bring everything into alignment for the conduciveness of the manifestation of the glory of God, do whatever it takes. And as they charge you as a leader, that if the house is out of order musically, it's your job. It is your job to bring that back in order.
And we have to be, as singers, as musicians, not so thin-skinned that we can't take correction. Susie knows this. I know Peggy knows this. If our musicians ever reach the level of excellence that they are brought into the studio to work with a musician who is cutting a CD, or they are asked to go on tour with a professional musician, they are going to be subject to a musical director. They're going to be subject to a sound engineer. They're going to be subject to a producer in some cases, who is going to tell them in much harsher terms, much less diplomatically than Elder Williams did, who did not embarrass anyone, who will tell you, that's not right, don't do that. You're playing too loud, turn that down. I've seen Donnie McClurkin in concert turn around and tell his backup singers, pay attention. That's the world of music. And so we have to be realistic about that. Doesn't happen in the church. So we can't be so thin-skinned that we get our feelings hurt when somebody sings a song different than what we might like in the church, because I guarantee you, if you ever get to a level of being a professional musician, you will be dealt with much more harshly than anybody in the church will deal with you. Just want to recap a few things. Music with a focus on Jesus. We talked about congregational singing and the importance of tapping into that vein. We talked about devotional singing and the importance of worship and many times singing worship songs that involve everybody in the congregation being able to join in and sing with you. Peggy has over and over again in her comments, and has been seconded by the other panelists, talked about tapping in to the Lord and the spirit of worship in our singing. We talked about funerals, and one of the things I heard in that discussion was there is a difference between homegoings and funerals. But not only is it important to do music with a focus on Jesus that is appropriate in a funeral setting, it's probably more important in a funeral setting that you minister with a focus on Jesus, because you may reach someone who really needs it in that setting, as long as you're doing the appropriate music. We've talked about musicians and the importance of them being tapped in to the worship service and understanding their part, which is a very important part, and being in tune with the pastor's vision for the house in the way that they present their offering to the Lord. And we've touched on the idea of singing at weddings and the fact that sometimes, I think it was Peggy, sometimes there are songs that you might sing at a wedding that are wholly appropriate, but may not be appropriate for a worship service. Could we talk a little bit about music in a wedding setting?
I just want to say that I think that any time you sing songs in church, Jesus should be in that song. And that's just how I feel. Jesus somewhere, God somewhere in that song. The inspirational songs sometimes do not have Jesus in it. Like that song that Your Love Is Why, that does not have the word Jesus in it. And I just, I can use it at a banquet or at a, like I said, many people have come walk down the aisle on that song. But I personally think that anything we sing